Go in. So we have the nominal interest rate, we have the effective interest rate. Okay? So our formula here, as you can see, it has three unknowns. So effective, nominal, and the number of compounding per year. Okay. So now we're going to be given any two. If we're given any two, now we're supposed to get what? The third one. Ne? So if we take number A, for example, they say, convert the nominal interest rate of 18% per annum compounded monthly to an annual effective interest rate. So what are we looking for, Tina? We are looking for I effective. Okay? So how are we going to get I effective for this thing then? How are we going to get I effective for this thing? So let's collect the data. What is it that we have? We have I, which is I norm. What is our I norm? It's 0.18. Okay? And then N. What is our N? Compounded monthly. Our N is going to be actually 12. And then we are looking for I effective. If we are going to use this formula, what does it say? It says which we are going to have 1. Okay? And then we say plus I effective, which is going to be equaling to 1 plus I norm all over N. Okay? To the power of what? Of N. Let's go and substitute after it. Straightforward. Okay? If we go and substitute here, what are we going to have? We can take this one is positive. If we take it to this other side, it's going to become what? Then you're going to have something like this. It's 1 plus, we have 0.18, which is I norm. Okay? All over, what is N? N is the number of compounding per year. So we're going to have what here? 12. To the power of what? Of 12. Minus 1. And then you go and type this exactly as it appears in your calculator. So what are you going to have in your calculator? Open bracket. 1 plus 0.18 divided by 12 to the power of 12. Okay. And then it says minus 1. Then what we get something like 0.20. Yeah, remember my calculator is rounded off to 2 decimal places. I should change this as shift fix. Let me round it off to 6. Let me round it off to 6 decimal place. Yeah, something like this. Okay, sharp. And after that, actually, the interest rate, we're going to write it as a percentage. So if we write this as a percentage, we're going to say multiply by what? By 100. And then what we get is our effective interest rate. It says which I is going to be equal to 19.56%. 19.56%. And then this is going to be the effective interest rate. Remember, what did the bank quote us? The bank quoted us 18%. Okay? But the effect that we're going to have, the money that we're going to receive at the end of the investment is not going to be equivalent to 18%, but it's going to be equivalent to what? To 19%. Does it make sense then? So the effect that we're going to feel is no longer going to be 18, but it's going to be what? 19. Now, what else should we know then? We should also know how to convert an annual effective interest rate to a nominal interest rate. So actually, we know how to convert a nominal interest rate to an effective interest rate. So number 2, we should be able to say, okay, number B, let's convert this one. We're going to have I, what are we given here? They say we convert the effective interest rate, which means this is I effective. Okay? So if this is I effective, we're going to tell them what is our I effective. Our I effective is going to be 0.135, like this. And then what is our N? It's compounded semi-annual. So what is going to be our N? It's 2. And then we go and substitute on the formula. Let's go and substitute on the formula. What does the formula say? It says root 1 plus, okay? I effective, which is going to be equal to open bracket, 1 plus I norm all over N to the power of N. Okay, let's go and substitute then. We know what is I effective. Okay? What is I effective? 0.135. This is plus 1. This is going to be equaling to 1 plus I norm all over 2 to the power of what? Of 2. Okay, these ones, we can add them. They're like terms like this one. And then from there, we want to remove these 2. We still remember how to remove these 2. We are going to put a square root both sides. So if we square both sides, what are we going to remain with? We're going to remain with square root of 1 plus 0.135. which is going to be equaling to 1 plus, okay? I norm all over 2. Ne? Take 1 to this other side, okay? And then if you take 1 to this other side, it says which you are going to have root 1 plus 0,135 minus 1, which is going to be equaling to I norm all over 2, okay? And what can we do from here? Multiply by 2, multiply by 2. Ne? And then it says you can, as long as guys you remember, you can type this in your calculator and then write the whole answer. As long as you remember what you're going to round off the final answer, ne? You can do that so that if this thing is complicated for you, simplify them step by step. But when you simplify them, write everything. You can round off to maybe 5 decimal places so that you know when you round off the final answer, it's going to be fine. Now, how am I going to type this in my calculator then? I am going to type it exactly the way it is. I'm going to say 2, open bracket, okay? And I say root 1 plus 0,135. Ne? Close bracket. I didn't open a bracket. Oh, minus 1. And then we close the bracket. And then if we do that, we get it's 0,13. Yeah, we need to round it off to 4 decimal places here. 0,1307. And then this is going to be our I norm. Now, we are going to then multiply this by 100. If we multiply this by 100, it says which our I nominal is going to be 13, it's 0.7% And then guys, one thing that you need to know, yes, Paul, equation there you are going to get it, whether you like it or not.